What up, YouTube? Today we're going to take this trunk behind me from old and busted to new and fresh. Stay tuned because I'm going to show you how to overhaul your entire trunk. Alright, so this is kind of several steps of the process all at once so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. With everything out, I'm going to be painting this black just like we're doing everything else. We're going to try to make it look good. So I kind of sort of got that wheel well arch slightly covered there. And then we got the carpets totally removed. This is actually two pieces that go right here. We've got the middle part vacuumed out. And then, you know, it's still dirty and stained up. You guys can really see what it looks like in there. And then this is still a bunch of stuff, so that needs to all be moved. And then I need to vacuum that, and then we can start pulling that out as well. And then here's all the stuff we got pulled out. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I got some water inside the trunk because this water channel here was full of debris, and I'm sure the weather stripping is no good either, but I think that it was more likely getting water in there because of all the debris, or at least removing the debris will help a lot. I haven't really fully cleaned the top side or the side over there, but I think that's definitely going to help. So I took these carpets and I not sanded them down, but I sprayed them down with the hose, and then I cleaned them up real good and used this brush tool on my driver. I don't know where I set that thing at. It might still be inside the vehicle here. Maybe not. Nope, right here. I used this brush tool on the good old DeWalt, and once they were wet, and I used a little bit of dish soap there and got them pretty clean, where the only issue was those, I guess I'm going the wrong way, the only issue left after the deep cleaning was those kind of stains like that, but they were, you know, free of dirt and dust and all of that. Then I used some of that good old medium gray vinyl and fabric paint, and that's kind of the end result. I mean, there's still some spots that are tattered. This spot, I think I went a little too heavy with that brush, and then, you know, there's some little stuff like this, which I can probably trim that off, make it look a little better. They definitely don't look brand new, but they also definitely do look very clean and significantly better than they did before. And I've looked on eBay for a new trunk carpet kit for this vehicle, and it is $600. So no thank you on that. I'm going to clean these up myself, and then maybe I'll put a little piece of duct tape or something. I'll put it the non-sticky side facing here, and then a longer sticky side on the bottom, so it's at least not a hole. I don't know what I'm going to do exactly, but I might try to patch up them holes some kind of way. I'm not a sewer, so I don't do any sewing, but I'll try to do my best to kind of patch some of these up some kind of way. But they definitely look great compared to the carpet that's still in the trunk. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing with a small piece here. This is the piece that basically covers up the back side of the driver's side tail light. So if you have the trunk open, it would be on the driver's side, kind of over in this area, facing up and down. So we got it out of the vehicle. That's step one. Step two, we're going to spray this bad boy down, get it nice and wet. And unfortunately, they are gonna, oh, come on, flip over. Unfortunately, they are gonna kind of lose their shape but that's okay because they were kind of glued in to begin with, so they'll get glued back in place. Now that we've got it rinsed off, we're going to apply a bit of dish soap to it. We're going to take this tool and we're going to go to town. We're going to use medium speed. We're going to try to let the tool do most of the work, not pressing down too hard because this is 55-year-old trunk carpeting and it is a bit delicate. I'm going to wash all that nasty dirt and stinky smell from half a century out of there. Now look at all that dirt coming out of there. It's kind of going both directions a little bit. Trying to go a little easier on the spots where it's already kind of tattered. And I think that's pretty good. And of course now we're going to want to rinse as much of that off as we can. And I mean, some people do this with a pressure washer, but once again, due to the delicateness of the trunk carpet that I'm working with, I do not want to use super high pressure on it, just enough to get the job done. Next, we set it on this outdoor bench I got with some holes in the bottom so it can drain out and dry off. In order to speed up the drying process, I'm going to use a leaf blower. Of course, it isn't fully dry yet, but this is pretty much what we're left with after all of that, is a clean carpet that just has the stains on it from years past. But once we add that final vinyl and fabric paint, it'll look so much better. And then once that's done drying over there, we can apply a few, maybe 2 light coats to the carpet, and it'll pretty much look something like that. So I'm going to be doing that to the rest of the vehicle inside of the trunk. With all the trunk carpet done, I'll probably paint everything with it all out, and then I'll use some headliner adhesive or maybe even some of that butyl tape that I got to try to hold it in place. Well, here's the big main piece, and boy does that look disgusting against a color that contrasts it, such as my patio. Super disgusting. And then I haven't vacuumed it out yet, but this is kind of what it looks like. I guess, see, I was thinking that was the paint, but that's actually, that red stuff actually appears to be the glue that they use to hold it down. And then they put some sort of like tar paper or something, this real thick shit, whatever this stuff is here. So I'm gonna salvage that and keep that because there realistically shouldn't be nothing wrong with it. And then I'll try to clean that up a little bit, and then we'll spray something down before we put it back in. That's kind of what she looks like with a lot of that stuff out of there. Look at that. That is disgusting. Look at all that nasty shit coming out of there. Oh, I'm not even putting much oh, that is disgusting. I don't even know what that is, but it's quite satisfying, I must say, to see it leaving the carpet. Yeah, I wasn't even going to film this part because I showed you on the other one. I mean, obviously I'm going to film some of this job so you guys can get a good picture, but I had to turn that camera back on when I saw that absolute filth right there. That is crazy. This one might need a double wash because this is real nasty. In a couple spots there, it's still really dirty. Well, I scrubbed and scrubbed until that color started coming out, or stopped coming out. Only clear water comes off now. Still stained in all the same spots, but once we get that coated up, it should clean up pretty nicely. Alright, so here is the main piece of the trunk carpeting after it's been dried off and hit with that fabric paint. It took damn near a whole can to get it to a somewhat uniform color, and those little white spots are just kind of areas where the carpet is worn. So when I hit that with paint, it actually made it a little brighter instead of darker, unfortunately. Not much I can do about that, but I think it looks so much better than it did before. I'm hyped. All right, so we got this side kind of painted up for the most part. We got this little lip here under the weather stripping, and I even did that channel in there. I had it all taped off and whatnot. I'm gonna do this part at a separate time. And then that is not a spot I missed. That's just glue that didn't accept the paint very well. But I mean, we got up in there pretty dang good overall. So we're gonna go ahead and start putting some of these panels back in. And there's that panel back in. The piece that screw held on was kind of ripped off already, so I put some tape on it and tried to reattach it. And then now I'm gonna put the panel that goes over that back on for now. And then I may have to hold off on the rest, because you kind of got to put these back on in a certain order. Certain ones go over other ones, if that makes sense. All right, well, that's this one back in. That's looking pretty dang good, I'd say. Unfortunately, the spray adhesive that I got started spraying all over the place. There's something wrong with the can, so I got this part sprayed, but I'm gonna take this can back and get another one. I swear I have the absolute worst luck with spray cans of any kind. I always get a damaged one somehow. All right, so here's the other piece fitted. It's not glued down yet, but it's in a position where I can just kind of fold it over, glue this down, and then move all this stuff out of the way, fold this side up, spray it down, and then it should be good to go. But it looks like it might potentially rain on me, so I want to kind of get this cleaned up a little bit. Plus I got some other stuff to do today, but I think that looks incredible compared to what it looked like before. And then that's our duct tape patches, just so it looks somewhat taken care of, you know, patched up a bit. Like I said, I put the non-sticky side facing us, and then a larger piece of sticky facing the other way, so that well, I guess technically the sticky and the non-sticky are facing us, but if I touch this, it's not sticky. But I put a larger piece that is sticky on behind it. Hope that makes sense. Figured it'd be better than doing nothing. It would at least hopefully prevent it from getting ripped up any worse. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about my trunk carpet refinishing, we'll call it, the quality of my work. Leave it down in the comments. Well, I traced the shape of it on this piece of cardboard. Got this at the hardware store, double layered it too, so I cut the shape out of 2 different pieces. We'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so this is the piece that goes on the driver's side of the trunk, going vertical. And as you can see, it got wet and kind of got a little moldy or something on the bottom there. So I made me a new one out of 2 layers of cardboard and painted it gray with that fabric paint. So I'm going to see how it fits. Well, I ended up having to make a second one of these because the first one didn't fit right, and I kind of wish I wouldn't have painted it first. But I got a new one in there that seems to fit right. When I tried to fit the other one, it just got all wrinkled up and it just started to look really bad, and I didn't like the way it looked. This one fits great, except unfortunately I think I only got 2 of those 4 screws lined up properly, and the other 2 are not in there. I just kind of made my best guess as to where the holes were, but it's definitely in by a couple of screws. All the screws are there, and the panel is very tight fitted in that area, just as tight as it can be without bending or wrinkling. So it's definitely not going to go anywhere, and it at least has the look of all 4 screws being in it. And I hate to, you know, half-ass it and not make sure that those screws are in. And with just about anything else on this car, I would definitely do that. But if I have to redo this again, I might go insane, for one. And 2, that'd be like $22 more, because I think that the box was like $7 or $8 that I made this out of, and then I used damn near a full can of paint to cover it because I had to make it twice. So if I pull that out again and screw it up just to get the right screw hole, I would rather leave it the way it is. I think it looks good enough. There's literally no reason to ever pull that panel off unless you're going to access the drain hose in there, which literally all that does is if you happen to spill gas in here, it would drain out and it would drain down out of the vehicle. And that hose is original, absolutely nothing wrong with it. Will rarely get used, and I don't plan on ever really replacing that. There's no real reason to. So as unfortunate as it is that those screws are not in the way they are, I'm gonna leave well enough alone on this. So once we get everything all done in here, it's gonna look incredible. So unfortunately, we got this with the screws kind of screwed up, and then there was that one screw on the glove box panel that I had to cut the head off of and kind of glue in there just so that it would look proper. And like I said, I hate doing that kind of stuff on this vehicle, but sometimes you just got to leave well enough alone. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Well, this is the panel or the piece of carpet that goes straight up and down. If you open the trunk, this is where the latch would be and the cutout. So like when you're looking inside the trunk, it kind of goes this way. And then this is the other sort of behind the tail light piece. And I must say that if it wasn't for those stains, I don't even know that we'd need any fabric paint. This stuff actually cleans up fairly well. Now granted, we're looking at the cleanest piece in the entire trunk, so I guess that's not really saying much because that's got a bit of a stain to it as well. But I just wanted to point out that original color that these have is actually kind of nice when it's clean. But unfortunately, the color that I got didn't quite match, and honestly I don't really care. I think the lighter color actually gives it a cleaner look. It may not hide dirt as well, but it'll definitely look good. Well, we got a little bit more of the trunk painted there, so that's kind of what that looks like. Got this other carpet out, looking good. Well, we got the entire rearward section of the carpet reinstalled, as well as the driver's side. We got that panel over there in. Got another duct tape patch. I decided to hit the duct tape with a little bit of paint. Thought it'd make it look ever so slightly better. And then we just got to finish up right here. I got to take off the trunk closed switch and paint the rest of that, and then I should be good. I went ahead and painted this up as well, so it looks a little bit better. But man, guys, that carpet looks incredible. All right, we've got the passenger side in place and glued down. We also got the board out that goes over here. I'll show you guys what that looks like. Looks like this. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to make a new one of these and sew this onto it. I'm gonna hit this with some of that paint as well, and then it should look good. But unfortunately, I gotta make another one of these, dang it. All right, we got the last piece fitted, the center piece. Went ahead and painted up the spare tire cover too, and even that vinyl turned out incredible. It looks really, really good. Let me turn it on like my regular camera so you can see. Sometimes I like to film from the zoomed out angle so you can really see everything. Unfortunately, this didn't come out too well, that imprint from where those hubcaps or whatever was sitting there, so that kind of sucks. And then this is from where the crank pulley was sitting when I had it finished. But the only thing we need to do now is this last panel here, and we're good to go. Looking real good. Alright, we got another update here on the trunk. That's what we're looking like still. We got this panel made. I got the flap put on. I sort of cheated and I didn't do it the factory way. I'm sure you guys can see what I did instead. Maybe that light's too bright. I did not sew it on there. I used a stapler because, like I said, I am not a sewer. I tried, didn't turn out well. And the staples saved a lot of time and frustration, and they are still holding quite well. So sue me if I stapled it. I'm not too worried about it. Staples are going to be covered up by this little lip here anyway. However, one thing I do want to mention on that, we got those two bars behind there just like we did on this side, and I kind of screwed up on the screws on a couple of them. Well, this side, the screws must be in the correct position. So what I may end up doing is drilling some holes and putting the screws in to a new spot on those metal brackets, because it kind of looks like that's what they did from the factory anyway. And then over here, we've got the jack. That main rod for the bumper jack was kind of rusty, and I didn't bother sanding it down because this thing's almost never gonna get used. You can kind of see where it was rusty, and I guess I did technically half-ass it and just paint over that. But to be honest with you, this jack, in my opinion, is only in there for looks at this point. No one is ever going to use this jack unless it's an absolute emergency. And then once this paint dries, I'm going to tape off that bar, and we're going to hit that with a fresh coat of black. And we got that little spring that kind of holds it in place there. And then over here on the fire pit, I have another one of the pieces that the jack kind of rests against, so we're getting closer and closer. All right, we've reached another milestone. We got this whole jack stowage section all finished up. We got the jack rod painted, the jacking mechanism painted, we got the spring painted, we got the screws in place. We got the two brackets on, the one that holds the jack and the one that holds the spring. So I think that looks incredible. I mean, that damn near looks like a brand new jack right there. Obviously, it's not really a safe style of jack. Neither are the modern scissor jacks either, for that matter, I must say. But these are some of the most dangerous types of jacks that you could ever possibly use. So anyway, looking good. I'm glad we got that done. The only thing even related to this section here that we have to do, I've ordered a new sticker. You know, I'm big on those original factory stickers. And it's going to go right here in the middle, and it says jack stowage. Of course, I'll show you guys that once it comes in. Alright, we got that spare tire wheel all painted up. Took it up to the Firestone, got us a Sure Drive Highway and a 235/75/15. So we'll have a full-size spare. Unfortunately, they said if they tried to balance it, it was asking for like 20 ounces or something. So I don't know if maybe they had it on there crooked or what, but we didn't get it balanced, unfortunately. But it is just a spare, and it is a brand new tire, so we'll go ahead and put that in the trunk. All right, so we got the new tire in there. Just wanted to show you guys what that looks like before we put the cover on. The bottom base of the bumper jack is what kind of centers that stud, and then the stud that the wing nut threads onto hooks into that piece where the carpet was missing in the center there. And then we got the wing nut all tightened down. All that stuff's been painted up. And so now we're going to go ahead and put the cover on. All right, so we got that cover on finally, and turns out you got to put that cover on, then put the tire in there and tighten it up afterwards. And I don't know if the original spare was actually a full size, because this thing fits, but just barely. So I don't know, but it looks good. It's finally on there. We've got the nice refurbished cover over it. We got everything in there tightened down. We got the wheel painted, and we've got a fresh, brand new tire. Kind of wish that this was more, you know, folded down, but it's old. There's not much you can do about that, and it's not that big of a deal. So getting really, really close now. The only thing I really got to do is replace this weather stripping, and then there's a couple little spots where I need to hit it with paint still. Here's black, and then it goes to red, so that's one of the spots. And then still got to paint this channel and the back channel, but I may hold off on the back one till the trunk lid gets removed. But anyway, that's where we're at now. We got the tire and the cover done. All right, we got the brand new jack stowage lift sticker. Came in the mail today. Sort of made of like a cloth type material. And the original one was sewn on there, but I think it's going to stick on there just fine. And it definitely adds to the new look of what we've done in here. It helps it all look just that much more fresh. Well, so much for all of this coming out in one piece. It's ripping up like crazy. But I got probably 95% of it removed. This part here is going to be the only difficult part, is this channel back here. And I mean, it didn't look a whole lot better than that in the rest of the channel, but because it's so close to this, I'm going to have a fun time getting that out. But once we do get that out, I've already kind of test fitted the rubber there, so it should fit and work out. It doesn't seem exactly the same as the other one, but I think it'll still work, honestly. And we may have to get some goof off or some goo gone or something like that. And we'll probably have to get some more glue or some type of adhesive to hold the new one on. Well, after lots and lots of scraping and putting some new weather stripping adhesive down, we finally got the new seal in place all the way around. But I want to let it stay closed for a little while to make sure these corners and other areas stay down like they should till the glue dries. And this is it right here, all finished up. Just a recap of everything we've done. We went ahead and painted out here. We also painted both channels. We also replaced the entire weather stripping. We replaced these boards that go on the side. We replaced the board back here. We painted the jack and the holders for the jack. We painted this as well. We got it re-adhered to the new board. We got a new sticker. We got a brand new spare tire. We got the spare tire cover looking better. We painted the hinges for the trunk lid. We got our trunk open and switch reinstalled, and we also cleaned and painted all of the carpet inside the trunk. So the only thing really left to do that would have anything to do with the trunk itself would be to paint the deck lid here, as well as trying to knock this channel down some, because when you shut the trunk, this side sticks up a little bit, so I need to do something about that. But This video has taken me several months from start to finish, and I don't want to hold the video off any longer for you guys, and anything else that I do besides this is not going to make a visual difference anyway. But I did want to notate that I'm going to try to do something with that channel, either pull the weather stripping up and clean it out a little better, or try to tap the entire channel down somehow with like a wide punch, I guess. But anyway, we are totally finished up in here, and it looks very, very good, I think, considering that we did not replace the carpet. Sure, there's a couple spots like that could use a patch as well, but overall, I think this is quite the difference from how it was before. We even replaced the trunk bulb that shines light upon the contents of your trunk. And that's going to be the end of the video for today, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. This one is probably the video that took the most amount of effort of all the YouTube videos I've ever put out. So if you could like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already on this one, I'd really greatly appreciate it. It'd mean a lot to me, because this was a lot of work from start to finish on this one. Otherwise, please stay tuned for many more awesome videos on the Andy's Auto YouTube channel. I'm Andy, signing off.